And we're live. Welcome, everyone. This podcast is an alpha and may be subject to change. Joining me, as always, is the Big T.
Big T, what's up?
In the house.
The house.
Yeah, that's all. That's all this week. Because again, no one else showed up. Not gonna name any
Any
names.
better friends? Not gonna name any names, but they all begin with Z.
It's true, they do. It's very unfortunate. Well,
we don't need them.
We were having a really interesting discussion before the podcast. Literally.
That's why we're passing.
Yeah.
We got carried away.
We got carried away with a really interesting discussion. Then I was like, you know what? We should probably go live if we're gonna have these discussions.
No, we're not gonna have that. We're gonna intentionally avoid that discussion now.
Because that's not the segment we do at the start of the podcast. I mean, we could briefly talk about it. We've already really discussed it, but
we could briefly talk about it. I was just getting hyped for the new consoles, which it was larger than me just talking to a brick wall because Zan doesn't care at all about consoles. But I was just getting hyped for the new features that we're getting, like the big increase to loading speeds with SSD, and I was saying that PC gamers actually going to have to catch up on that, which is weird because it's very rare that happens. But consoles are actually ahead of the game in that department now. Because PC games are going to have to keep catering to the lowest common denominator, i.e., people with hard disk drives for a long time. So,
but yeah, we were just saying, how mid-range PCs are probably on par with the next generation at this point.
Yeah, I was saying that too. Well, I'd say the new consoles are sort of mid to high, which is very good because this generation of consoles, when they came out in 2013, were mid to low, and so it's they're starting on a good level, and even the crappy little Series S with its hampered specs can ray trace, which is what started this conversation, isn't it? I was watching a video about the new Watch Dogs and how the Series S has ray tracing in it, which is just bizarre because it looks so puny, that console, but apparently it can do ray tracing in a game that's really ugly.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll do ray tracing for Minecraft as well.
Oh, I don't know. Nothing can handle that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. We'll see where the new consoles go. Again, I don't really care that much. I don't really have the money to spend on a new console or get the new consoles, and then also I'm like, I play on PC anyway. I don't really.
You see my surprise.
I mean, it's more so because I stream on PC, so.
And you don't have a capture card.
I don't have a capture card, that's true. So that's just where I'm at. But yeah, that's what we were talking about before the podcast. Shall we get into the games that we've been playing this week?
Let's do it.
Tef.
Do you want to start for once? I feel like I always start. Why don't you go first?
Well, I'm the host. That's why I pass it on to my fellow guests. Or fellow co-host at this point.
That's good. I'm not a guest. How dare you? Okay. I mean, fine. I'll go first. I don't care. I'll go first. I've just been playing Fallout 3 all week anyway. So that's mostly what I've been playing. I don't know. I can't remember whether I mentioned this on stream now. But I picked it up on GOG. I think I did mention it during a Jack and Dexter stream. Actually, I picked it up on GOG. Because I had never played the DLCs. And I was like, oh, I'll play Fallout 3 again, and I'll play the DLCs with this Game of the Year edition on GOG. And I've played one of the DLCs, and I never want to touch any of the DLC content ever again.
It was Mothership Zeta, wasn't it?
Mothership Zeta, yep. I thought, you can't go wrong with aliens, can you? Oh, yes, you can. My God, it's the most boring thing I've ever played in my life. It's just,
It's my problem with most of the Fallout DLCs. I think at the time they were really cool, but going back and just trying to play a Fallout game, it's like, I'm in the wasteland, I'm exploring, having a good time, and then I go into a DLC area, and then I'm locked in this DLC area until I'm done with the DLC, and I'm like, I don't really care about the DLC now. I wanted to go explore this big wasteland. Let me out. Yeah. Let me out.
It's weird, though. I feel like it can't be that simple, because I just don't understand. Mothership Zeta, I remember, was well regarded when it came out, but I played it, and it's not good. It wasn't good by the standards then, because all of the normal Fallout gameplay is just completely stripped out, and they give you a gun that one hit kills everything. everything that you come up
Mm.
against. And when I say everything, I just mean the same alien, like the same stereotypical alien guys, skinny little fellas running at you, and then they die in one hit. And you just walk down a bunch of identikit corridors, blowing up identical reactors for about 3 hours, and then it ends. That's it. Like there's nothing else to it. There's a couple of characters. Like it has characters which have the promise of being maybe a little bit interesting, but then never does anything with those characters. Because there's characters who've been frozen in stasis on the ship for like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So there's like a cowboy in that, and that's such a cool idea. But then you hardly speak to those characters. It's just that's such a wasted opportunity, and the rest of it's just horribly uninspired and repetitive. And I wasn't even having fun with the combat. Like I guess I can only assume that it's meant to be a combat-driven DLC, and it's all about the fighting. But
Mm.
they give you a gun, which one hit kills them.
I don't really
And
remember it one hit killing, but again, it's been so long since I played.
I mean, so I went in at like level 6 or 7, like fairly early on in the game.
Mm.
Like I hadn't even gone into the capital yet. I'd stayed around the Megaton area. Um, and I think it might be in the way I spec my character, to be fair, but that's probably a part of it. But like the best weapon I had at the time did about 12 damage.
Was it the laser
And
pistol?
yeah, I think I had like laser pistol,
Yeah.
and they gave me this alien plasma rifle thing that did did like 42 damage. And on top of that, I'd boosted my energy weapons skill up to like 50 at that point because I've been putting loads of points into that because I wanted to
Oh,
spec
okay.
into energy weapons. And obviously, every weapon on the spaceship is an energy weapon. So I would like that's it. Then they gave me a gun that was 4 times more powerful than anything else I'd had so far, and it was in the gun class that I had the most points in. So I was just obliterating everyone, and it was so boring. It was just so dull.
Yeah. Again, like I don't remember. I just I feel like this about most of the Fallout DLCs, except in New Vegas they had, I think it was Old World Blues or something. It was something like that where you were. It was a DLC where a bunch of people get like, I said lobotomized, but they just get their brains taken out, and you have to go collect your brain or something like that. You have to go get your brain back, and it's actually this like wide open area with a bunch of different locations, and that was a good DLC. Most of the other New Vegas ones were really boring. Like I remember there's this caravan one where it's like a caravan gets your caravan gets attacked and there's a bunch of tribes and stuff, which are
Yeah, that was
just,
real fun. I remember that one.
yeah. I remember just I never finished that one. I'd get into it and then I'd just be like, I want back, take me back.
Yeah, it was so dull.
But yeah, like a lot of mods just make for more interesting, expansions to the game in that sense. I think it is part of like I want to explore. I don't want to be fixed into this DLC.
Yeah, they often do have a problem with bringing you into confined spaces. Like, there's nothing to explore in that mothership Zeta. I know
Mm.
in that DLC with the tribes that you were talking about in New Vegas, they do give you a new area to explore, but there's not a whole lot there really. And well, it's technically an open world, but it's one of those ones where you're funneled from place to place, and it never feels like you can explore anyway.
Yeah, because you're in
Um,
like
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like you're just going through tunnels in that one. From what I
yeah, or
remember.
just walking along the side of a canyon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that too. Um, have you played the DLCs for Fallout 4?
No, I actually
Hmm.
didn't. I got Fallout 4. Well, I don't actually own Fallout 4. I was. I had Ellen actually shared her account with me and wanted me to play through Fallout 4. I think she wants me to play through Fallout 4. This was like 3 or 4 years ago now. So it's a long time ago, and I played like 30, maybe 30, 40 hours of Fallout 4 on stream. I actually really enjoyed Fallout 4 for what it was. It wasn't
It's
that bad.
okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not great. Controversial opinion, but I think the Outer Worlds is probably a little bit better than Fallout 4, but that's just me.
I don't know if
But
that's that controversial. A lot of people really like the Outer Worlds, from what I understood.
it's not what I know. No, they don't. No, it gets.
Did they
It was
not?
like really popular for like a week, and then everyone was like, "Actually, I don't think it's that good," which I really don't think was fair on it. It's more interesting than Fallout 4. Um, it really is. People
I
just are
just
too attached
had,
to the Fallout world.
yeah, I had a lot of people just saying they really liked it and it was a really good game. So I don't know.
Yeah, for the first week, and then I guess like a lot of people suddenly decided they didn't like it. As happens with a lot of games. But
Hmm.
anyway, Fallout 4. really didn't care that much about the main campaign, but the DLCs were a lot better, and they didn't have the problems that the ones in 3 and New Vegas had. They both of the DLCs were new areas to actually explore.
Mm.
One of them was a new island to explore, which had a sort of um, like Lovecraftian vibe. Like everything was
Okay.
foggy, and there was these like weird eldritch horrors
Oh, you know
wandering
what?
around
Actually,
the
I think I
island.
did play this DLC because I think there's like androids or something in the middle or something. You go to like
Yeah,
this
that's
area in
right.
the very middle. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I did
that's it.
have the DLCs then because I do remember you go into this like you start off by going into this really weird, creepy town, and everyone there's
That's
kind of
it. Yeah,
strange.
that's the
So it
one.
does
Yeah, and
have
it's all
that.
like
Yeah,
rickety seaside town. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. And then the second DLC, which I haven't played much of at all, to be fair, but I still thought it's a cool idea. It's in a Nuka-Cola theme park that's being like repurposed into a settlement.
Okay, that's cool. I
Mm.
don't know if I played that one. I don't. I feel like I want to go back and play Fallout 4 again now, but yeah, I don't really remember that one. I feel like I'd need to play more of that. I've actually just remembered the two DLCs I really liked in Fallout 3 now. Because in Fallout 3, there's one that's set on an island as well, and it gives you an area to explore. And I remember it having like, it had like new animations built in for certain scenes in there. That was like, I remember the time was like, whoa, this is really cool back then. I don't know how cool it was then, but I remember it had a lighthouse and there was a brain. I don't remember what that was called. I don't know.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. I can't remember which one it is either, but I know there is one like that.
Yeah, that
Um,
one was cool. And then there was also the pit. The pit. I think I mentioned the pit though. The pit was like interesting because it was I think it was like slaves or something, and you were like put down into this pit area, and you had to do a bunch of fighting. You basically had to fight your way up through the pit or something. It was something like that, Mad Max
oh,
type stuff. I couldn't really. I can't really remember it now. I need to go back and just
Point
play a Fallout
Lookout is
game.
the DLC
Point
you're thinking
Lookout.
of.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
I remember that one being really good as well. So they're the two DLCs I'd recommend playing in Fallout 3.
Might give Point Lookout a go then.
Yeah. I remember
Cool.
those two being good. The rest aren't that great, from what I recall.
Mm.
But
Well, I'm gonna keep playing it. I do wanna like play more of the DLCs for 4 definitely because I didn't do everything on in the first DLC either, and
mm,
I've like barely touched the Nuka-Cola one at all. Um, it's kind of gonna be tough now though because I've got it on PS4. And now that I've been playing Fallout 3 on PC, h- modded so that it's got like multi-core support because the original engine only ran on one core. So now it loads instantly. Like I go through a door and I'm immediately in the next room. There's a loading screen. It's so
yeah,
nice, and I don't think I could go back to the standard Bethesda situation now, where it's just where it takes like 3 minutes to walk through a door. I don't think I could go back. That said,
yeah.
actually, if I do manage to get hold of a PS5 this side of Christmas, which would be a miracle, but if I do,
A Christmas
I
miracle.
can I could play it on the PS5 with an SSD and wouldn't have that problem. Um,
Mm.
I've forgotten to plug my laptop in, so it's dying. 1 minute.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say something and now I've forgotten. But
Fallout, I'm
probably
guessing.
something Fallout related. But no, I can't play Fallout without mods. I can't play a Bethesda game without mods now. I feel like I need them. I'm just so used to having them there. It feels
To be
weird
fair,
without them.
the console versions have mods now.
Oh, that's fair. I remember they had like mods. I remember when they brought out the like Bethesda mod system where it was like you can buy mods. I remember
Oh,
that.
oh.
I,
Shady company practices. We'll be getting into that later.
yeah, not for Bethesda specifically, but we'll get into a few. Don't you worry. But yeah, I just really want to play Fallout now. That's where I'm at. You played
Awesome.
anything else this week, Tef?
The only other thing I've been playing is I picked up a game called I have to check. I think it's called Moving Out. Yeah, yeah, Moving Out. Um, I just wanted like a silly couch co-op game to play,
Hmm.
and this was on sale on the PS4. And I don't know if you know anything about Overcooked at all.
I do. I do know. I've played Overcooked once or
Yeah.
twice.
So Overcooked is brilliant. and I've played it with the GF loads, and it's just like a good time, just like a good laugh. It's just ridiculous, and it's just really funny when one of us screws something up, and then like the whole thing falls apart, and for some reason we both just end up like laughing for like 20 minutes. I think you've got to have the right kind of people because
Yeah. You'll have certain people
Overcooked's
that would just yell
actually
at each other.
yeah, genuinely because it's actually like a really stressful game. So you've got to have
Mm.
like the right kind of people. Like so when I'm playing with a girlfriend, it's like it's fine because when we screw up, it's just funny. But I can see some people just being like, "Ah, what are you doing?" But
Mm.
we want some more of that, and moving out is pretty much the same thing. It's uh basically the same concept. You're a moving company, so you've got to go into a house and pick up a load of items and carry them back out and throw them into the lorry.
Do
And
you
there's
literally
like
throw
set
them
like
into the lorry, or do you place
yeah,
them down the? Okay.
no, you can throw them like you can just yeet them in. And it's like there's certain things that have to be carried by two people. So like you'll have to take a couch and you have to grab both ends and you can sort of swing it to throw it
Okay.
into the and obviously as it goes on, the levels get like weirder and weirder and you end up having to like throw things out of it starts with like little things like you throw stuff out of the upstairs window into the van to get it there faster because you're being timed. And then there's like conveyor belts involved and where I'm up to now the characters that we're playing as have unwittingly ended up um, they've ended up taking jobs for the mafia. Like they think that they're moving things for a
Oh,
legit company, but they're blatantly just breaking into buildings and stealing things and throwing it in lorry and driving off without realizing that they're stealing things. It's just like it's really wacky. I love it. It's just good fun. Um,
that does sound fun. I thought you were gonna say they were like moving bodies out or
that's
something.
what I thought. That's what I expected. As soon as like 'cause you get a mysterious call and it's like we need you to go into this abandoned building and take some things for us and I was expecting it to be like loads of rolled up carpets for us to move
Yeah,
um but no we're just like stealing things for the mafia but
that's
yeah
really funny.
it's funny
I've actually not
it's
heard
got
of
a good
it
time.
before.
No I hadn't I actually I literally like looked up couch co-op games to play on PS4 and this came up it's only been out a couple of months that's why
Okay.
I don't think it's that well known, and it is blatantly just a rip-off of Overcooked, but it nails the formula.
Mm.
Yeah, it only came out in April 2020,
I'm
so
surprised more people never picked up on it because it sounds like perfect sort of YouTube streamer bait, you know?
definitely, yeah. Unless it's not on PC, that might be why. That'll do it.
It could be.
I'm not sure. Uh,
Does
no,
sound
it's on
really interesting.
PC.
Hmm. I don't know. People must have just overlooked it.
Guess so. It's a shame. It's good fun.
Yeah, or I just missed it, but I hadn't heard of it. But yeah, that does sound really fun. But yeah, is that all you've been playing this week then? Or the last 2 weeks, I should say, because we didn't do a podcast last week.
Oh yeah, yeah. I no, I don't think there has really been anything else. Honestly, I've just mostly been playing Fallout.
Hmm.
Um,
And Among Us.
Oh yeah, obviously we've been playing a lot of Among Us. We're still hooked. It's still good
Hmm.
fun. Still, we get the problem is we've played too much Among Us now. That's our problem at this point. We know
Yeah.
too much about it, which makes it too easy for us to catch out other people, and it does just mean that now we're trying to trick each other.
Yeah, I now have to deal with Tef faking tasks as a crewmate, so I have to account for that now. He's he's basically my back here from Danganronpa setting up fake crime scenes for me to go into. And I'm like, okay. Okay, what's real here?
Anytime he's watching me now, I'll just fake a task. And one time I faked a task. Um, walked away from it, went and like handled something else, thinking like I did the lights or something, and then I went back to the same task and faked it again. And I could see him just going red in the face. And then he ran over and hit the button and got me booted out. And of course, because I knew that I was innocent, I just went, well, if I'm innocent, then kick Zan out next. And off
just,
I went.
just like trolling each other at this point.
So good. Honestly, I think what we need to do now is we're at the point in the game where um we need to switch off the taskbar. Otherwise the game is just too easy to choose for us. Because
Mm.
we figured, because especially you're just watching people now to see whether they're really doing tasks, and it's actually really easy to spot if someone's faking a task if you just watch the bar. That's
Yeah.
why in the last updates they added a setting in for you to disable the bar, so you can only see it during emergency meetings, or you can switch it off entirely if you want like real hard mode.
Yeah, the problem with it is it's just when you're playing at randos, the randos are like they're not all there, you know. So it makes it
Definitely. They're all clearly about 8 years old.
so it makes it difficult. It makes it like way more difficult for them as well. And at that point, they're just I feel like it would just all fall apart unless you were playing with an actual group of people. But that's just me, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's good. Oh, we need a group, definitely. So I'll tell you what we'll be playing tomorrow.
What will we be playing tomorrow?
Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh boy, I'm hyped for
I'm
that.
such a mess.
I'm such a mess. I can't believe they've dubbed back in Batai. It's not right. It's not right at all.
Listen, it's
But I'm hyped for that.
it's a good dub though. I will say it's a good dub. You know what?
It's pretty good dub. I'll give them
Pe-
that.
People may look down on it, but it does sound a little weird. But I think people just aren't used to it. Yeah. But yeah, you will be able to report on that next week, I guess.
I can't wait to talk about that. I'm gonna just stay up like all night tomorrow night. I'll hit myself in work on Wednesday, but I don't care. It's worth it. 100%
Yeah.
worth it.
You will. You'll just take up for this whole segment of the podcast next week will just be Yakuza.
It'll be an hour of Yakuza. It will.
Just get
I've
ready
done it
for
before.
that.
I'll do it
You
again.
have. So just prepare for that next time. But yeah, so if that's all you've been playing this week, I suppose I could talk about what I've been playing, which isn't a lot
Okay.
myself.
You've been
But
leveling, haven't you, boyo?
well, I played a little bit of Rogue Company.
Oh.
What I did. Yeah, I played a little bit of Rogue Company with Zot. So
With Zolt, you'd have thunk it.
yeah. He is making Rogue Company videos now. He's doing that. I'll give him a little shout out, even though he's not here. But yeah, I played a bit of that, which was they've added a lot to that already. It is fun. It's a good time, especially for it being free as well. And I got to play on the infamous Doctor Disrespect map. Probably can't play that on Twitch.
Oh, definitely can't play that on Switch.
His image is all over that map. Like there's just pictures of him everywhere. You turn a corner and there's like a quote from him, and it's like okay. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Rogue Company. I feel like there's just certain rogues in that game are just way too strong, or they just have certain guns that are just like make them the ones you have to be playing. That might just be me, but I feel like that it's one of those games where I feel like it's all about getting up close and personal, just run and gun. But yeah, I've not played a ton of it, so I can't really say for sure. But it's a fun time. I've enjoyed it, and most of the maps are really well designed. Like the one that was designed by Dr. Disrespect is actually really well designed. I actually really enjoyed that map. It was a good time.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he definitely does. And yeah, I mean, I can't really say a ton about Rogue Company. I didn't play enough of it to like give a full analysis of the game, but it's a good time if you're looking for a free third-person FPS to go pick up. Check out Rogue Company, give it a go. Zolt's doing videos on it now.
Yeah, just check out Zolt's channel.
Yeah.
Sorted for all your Rogue Company info. How's Valorant doing these days? I've not played it in ages.
Valorant's still plodding along. It just seems to, I don't know, being sat in the same place. I think it's got some new champions. I forget what they're called in that game's Valorant. Some new people.
No idea.
It's got new people in there. I think there's a new map. There might be 2 new maps now, actually.
Oh, there is Icebox. I need to play more of it. I really enjoy that game when I play it.
Yeah,
it's one of those games where when I'm not playing it, I don't feel the need to boot it up. But when I'm in it, I'm like, this is the best game ever.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I think it's done a really good job of cementing its place.
Definitely.
I think some people
think some
people talk about how they think it's like a dead game, but I don't I don't really get that impression at all. It seems to be doing really well considering the market it tried to break out into.
Mm, yeah, I think it's okay. There's so many like shooters and battle royales out there that, at the minute where there's so many of them, you lose track of all of them, but
Mm,
they've all managed to carve out their own little niches and they're just plodding along happily.
yeah. Still think Valorant's like pretty high up on Twitch as well. It still gets a lot of views.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah, so it's doing okay for itself. I wouldn't mind playing Valorant again at some point. Still not tried Season 2 of Fall Guys, which I meant to do. I don't know. I just haven't felt the edge to play a
Thing
bit of
is,
Fall Guys.
it apparently didn't add all that much. It's only added like a couple of new maps, and they don't even come into the rotation that often. So I'm afraid
Mm.
that it's going to feel very much the same as it did in season one.
But yeah, other than that, what else have I played? Well, I played a lot of Edgeworth too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did. I've played the first 3 cases of that. I think there's 5 cases in the game. I'm like on the 4th. I won't really go into detail on the cases because, you know, if certain people are watching, it might spoil it for them. I don't know if they are, but you know, I've
Just to be
really
clear,
enjoyed it.
this is Ace Attorney Edgeworth Investigations 2,
Yeah,
which
it's
hasn't ever actually been released in the West, has it?
nope, never got a release in the West. Very sad, but it got a really good fan translation. I don't know how long the fan translation's been out, but I've just been playing through it, having a good time. I actually just got a DS emulator on my phone, and I've just been playing on there, so I can emulate. You know, I can get that real touchscreen experience as well.
Yeah, that's like the only way to emulate a DS, I think. That or a Wii U is the only way to emulate a DS.
Mm,
Anything else just doesn't work properly because you need that touchscreen.
yeah, and it's been a really good time. It's like it feels like a I don't know. It's nice to be back in that world and actually have you know, it's got like a cohesive story as well. Each of the cases also to connect together and have like the different cases, but they have like their you know overarching story because the whole point of this game is you look more into like Edgeworth and his choice to be a prosecutor and stuff, and it's like hinting at is he going to be a prosecutor or a defense attorney by the end of the game and stuff like that. It's got a lot of themes like that going on because his dad is also like a defense attorney or was.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you get a lot of stuff like that, so it's really fun. It's cool to see all the characters coming back as well because it's just been so long since I've played any Satani game.
Yeah, and the characters are so endearing, aren't they? And
Mm,
they're surprisingly like deep and interesting, and you get sucked into the characters, even though they're so silly. And Ace Attorney manages to pull off this weird balance where the characters are like awful stereotypes. Like they're like
I
one-dimensional
mean,
stereotypes, but also
Gumshoe.
really, really deep characters at the same time. And I don't know how they pull it off. Gumshoe's a perfect example because he's basically a walking running joke, but
Yeah,
he gets expanded on so much, and yeah, I don't know how they do it. It's really good writing in that game.
yeah,
I
it's
want to play Ace Attorney now.
yeah. If you've not played the Edgeworth games, I'd recommend going. It's actually a lot of fun.
I've only
But
played
yeah,
the original trilogy actually.
yeah, the Edgeworth games are probably a good carryover from there because they don't. I mean, I don't think Phoenix is in this game either, but they don't ever like mention him by name in these games. But they'll always be like that guy or you know that one friend. They
Friend,
always, yeah, they always have
or like
stuff like that.
frenemies.
I mean, they kind of have their a resolution. Is Edgeworth even in any of the later Ace Attorney games? I don't even know because
No idea.
he sort of disappears after the games that he is in. You don't really see
Yeah, I'm
much
not
of him.
sure. He must be surely because he's like one of the main characters. Be like Yakuza without Majima, it wouldn't be the same.
True. But yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I'm trying to avoid going too deep into it just in case, but yeah, it like follows it's actually like a direct sequel to the second game. It like follows off right after the case from the last game. Well, I say right after,
Mm.
there's probably like a few months or something in between, but it directly references that and then you have some characters related to that case. But yeah, it's cool.
Cool,
It's a
cool.
good time. Other than that, what have I been playing? I don't even know. I feel like I've not played a lot.
Yeah, I'm wondering what I've been doing with my time now because I've not been busy, but I've not been playing many games. So what have I been doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I did look at the teaser for Don't Nod's latest game. So I don't know if you've seen, but Don't Nod are making a game called, I think it's called Twin Mirrors. These are the same people that did Life is Strange. So
Yeah, they've been making all kinds of games at the minute. I can't keep track.
they've got a few on the way, but Twin Mirrors is one of them, and it pretty much looks like a toned down Deadly Premonition. Getting that impression from it.
I can see what you mean, actually.
Because the premise of this game, from the little teaser that I've seen, is you play. I don't know if he's a detective or like a journalist or something, but he basically, the plot is he left town after, I think he was a journalist actually. I think he put out like a story and something went wrong with the story that he put out, and a lot of people in this really small town hated him because of it. And then also he proposed to this girl who didn't want to be in a relationship, so he then got out of town and was just ignoring everyone in the town, and then I think his like best friend or something dies, so he comes back for like the funeral, but his best friend's like daughter doesn't think that it was an accident, doesn't think it was a car crash or anything. He thinks there's actually something more going on, so he's like, okay, I'll investigate. But you also have this weird dynamic where he has this mind palace that he can go into.
Okay, there we go. I was waiting for that. I knew there was going to be some supernatural twist. Always is.
Well, I don't know if it's supernatural or if it's just like a visual thing, but they make it so you actually, it's like Sherlock mind palace kind of stuff, Dr. House kind of, yeah. So he goes into this sort of place and remembers stuff, and they have some really cool mechanics in there. But like for the first part, you're just in this white clean place, and he's like, everything's so nice and peaceful in my mind palace as he's walking through. And when he comes out of that, there's then a second character that is in his head talking to him, and it seems like whenever he's talking to this character, time freezes, which is a little weird. And I don't know who this character is supposed to be, but yeah, they have a lot of back and forths. And you get like choices in the game, and the choices seem to be between those two characters, like the differences in what they would do, which is where you'd see like sort of the deadly premonition stuff coming in to a degree.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because he's got the split personality.
I'm really starting to see that like these Don't Nod games, they really have a formula, don't they? They all follow the same pattern. I don't think I mentioned this on the podcast actually, but when when they first said that the Game Pass subscription was going up, and I said I wasn't going to carry on with it. Do you remember I said I was downloading loads of like story-driven single-player games and playing loads of them while I still could on the Game Pass? And one of them that I did give a go at was Tell Me Why, I think it's called, and that's a Don't Nod game. That's only I think it's only like 6 months old, and it's just Life is Strange, but it's about two twins, and they can speak to each other telepathically because they're twins. And they're going back to their old hometown, which is a little lakeside town in the middle of like New England, and it was fine, but I couldn't help but feel that it was just Life is Strange, but not quite as good. I didn't even finish it. I didn't get close to finishing it. I gave up pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the original Life is Strange. Well, I wasn't the target demographic for it, even though I did watch through it all. But I felt like I wasn't. I don't know, there's something about the writing just irked me in the first episode or two of it,
and
it was
totally
just
fair.
I couldn't stand the high school girls going around. I was like, no, none of this.
Well, they weren't even speaking like real high school girls, to be fair.
No,
like it was just the writing was the writing was good. The dialogue was not good.
Yeah, that was the problem. I couldn't do it. But this one feels more like more my style.
It's because it's got men in it, manly men. You just
No,
want it's a man in like a dark town wearing like a moody leather jacket.
listen, he's doing like detective stuff. Okay, that's more so my style. There's a mystery. It's detective stuff.
You just
It's
you
not
just
set at a high school.
you just want films for neckbeards like John Wick. That's what's going on here.
Listen, John Wick is not John Wick was what? Listen, it was one of the best action films in a long time. Okay.
John Wick is what neckbeards want to be. What they aspire to. They can never
Don't
reach it.
don't you take John Wick away, okay? John
I
Wick.
don't
John
want him.
Wick
You can have.
So it was a great film. I'm not gonna. We could fight about this on the podcast, but this is a gaming podcast where we do talk about video games, not movies.
There. But we're starting up a sister podcast now called This John Wick is an Alpha.
And John Wick, a great action film. Highly recommend. The first one is probably the best, I would say, personally.
I don't care.
So you should,
I don't.
can I talk now, Tef? Are we good?
Yeah, go on.
I know you're waiting to do the same.
Go on. Just go.
Okay, yeah, hands off. But yeah, John Wick, great film. Let me tell you about you.
Don't care, so.
Okay, we're done with that segment.
Move on.
But yeah, it actually looks really cool. You know? Not John Wick.
Twin Mirror.
Talking about, what was it called? I've forgotten the name. Twin Mirror. God, we went off on I don't know where we went then. But, yeah.
We're playing anything else, pal. Because you haven't even played
I want to talk more. Well, I want to talk more about Twin Mirror, okay? Because we're not going to talk about it in the news section. So, it actually has like an investigation sort of thing going with it as well, where you walk around the room and you kind of you piece together what happened and stuff like that. And then the teaser for what I watched ended with him waking up in a motel after getting really drunk, and
hell yeah,
and then finding a bloody shirt in the bath, and he was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And
what's Angel Darkness?
It has that sort of situation where he doesn't remember what happened the night before, and he ends up picking the shirt up, looking at it, and then it goes back into the Mind Palace, but it's like deteriorated a little because he's like not right now. He's not thinking straight.
Ooh,
and it has this mechanic where
cool.
you get like you see something behind you chasing you, so you start running, and then there's a bunch of like mirrors that pop up with different lighting on it, and you have to like run in between the mirrors and then hit like the correct one, and each time you pass through it, words start appearing on it, like his anxiety. It's like his anxiety manifested. So it's like, who did I kill? What happened? Stuff like that. And then it's like guilty on the mirrors as you run past. And there's one that's like, there'll be one that's like, you know, rationalize or something. So you run into that one instead. But it has a lot of that. And it just, each time you pass through it, it gets like worse and worse until you know, calm down, essentially. So I thought that was a cool way of sort of presenting that sort of idea.
That's a clever little mechanic, actually.
But yeah, it looks interesting.
That's cool.
I'll have to see when it comes out, and maybe I'll pick it up. I'll probably just watch someone on YouTube play because it's one of those games. Much like Telltale games.
You're ruining the industry.
Hey, you know what?
Just like that guy at Stadia said.
Listen, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I will ruin the industry.
I'm fine ruining the industry.
You know what? So if it makes that Stadia guy mad, I'm happy to do it.
Actually, that's fair. That guy deserves to be made angry.
Yeah. But apart from that, I don't know if I've actually played anything this week. Rogue Company, Edgeworth 2.
You've been leveling your character on Arcade. What's that been like?
Oh yeah, I've been leveling in Eastall on Arcade, which has been interesting. I mean, once you get past like level 30 something, you end up going to Halcyon anyway, which is like the zones where you'd level as the West Side character. But it's fun to play a different class. I'm playing a healing class and actually enjoying it because it's a healing class that does damage, which I wish I kind of knew about early on because I would have recommended it to people. because it's just got an
Yeah, I
ability
feel
where you
like.
just insta-gib several people at once, and it's just like, oh, I'm about
Oh,
this.
that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah,
I
you
think
have
it's
to like
pretty rare that modern.
go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, 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 no,
I was just gonna say, no, 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 no.
no, no.
I was just
You
gonna,
first.
I was just gonna say, like modern MMOs, I think it's pretty rare to see a class that's entirely healing these days. Anyway, like I think
Mm.
that devs kind of shy away from that now because you have to be a certain type of person to only be healing and not really have any decent attack powers. So I feel like MMOs now, it's either everyone's a DPS class with like a self heal, or if you do get healers, they're sort of more paladin types where they can do some damage as well.
Yeah, I think a lot
Which
of
I
games
think is
go for
better
like
to
the
be fair.
hybrid.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I think that's an improvement, honestly.
but yeah, I mean, this class I'm playing is literally just like I just have to build up stacks of prayer. So I get like 5 stacks of prayer, and I just pop down this skewer ability, which just is this massive circle. I'll just kill anything within it. Well, sometimes it doesn't insta kill, but you know, most of the time I get a nice satisfying pop on some of the mobs. I just feel good about it.
Oh, that is good. Would be
Mm.
satisfying.
But yeah, it's not really a lot to say about Arcade. It's Arcade. It's not really much difference. Playing a Warborn, which is like one of the races that turns into like a demon. That's one of your racials. You can turn into a demon for like a little bit.
That's badass. To be fair, that's a good racial. Racials are usually so awful.
Yeah, it's like the dwarf has a very similar one because they were brought out at the exact same time. Where instead of turning into like a demon, they get in like a massive mech thing, which is cool. But yeah, it's more like a devil trigger from Devil May Cry. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm playing Devil May Cry. But
Nothing wrong with that, especially not for you.
yeah, Devil May Cry, great series. I'd highly recommend everyone go play Devil May Cry 5.
No,
One day you'll play it, Tef.
I will not. I've played Devil May Cry 1, and that's the only one. Actually, I played 4 as well.
You didn't play 3? You played 1
I
and
didn't
4,
play
but you didn't
3.
play 3? Oh,
I know, I know, I know. I don't really like that type of game anyway. Not my cup
you
of
have
tea.
said. You don't even like that part of Yakuza, so...
Exactly, yeah. That's why Yakuza 7's gonna be the best one. Because it's a
Oh,
JRPG, and I
bold
actually like that
words.
genre.
Will
It
it
won't
beat,
be.
will it
It's
beat
not gonna
Zero?
beat 0.
No.
No way is it gonna beat 0.
Yeah, it's hard to top Zero. Especially when you're gonna have a different lead character. Can't have that.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird not having Kiryu. I will
Mm.
say, when I played Judgment and it had a different main character from Kiryu, it was a bit weird. That said, Yakuza's 4 and 5 don't really have a main character anyway. In both of those games, there's other main characters,
Yeah, you've
and
mentioned you
you'll
get like a
play as
bunch
them
of
for
characters.
chunks of it. Yeah, yeah. So it's not that strange, but not really having Kiryu in it at all. Besides, like he shows up for like one part of 7. Um, it's gonna be weird not having him because he's
Mm.
so iconic. But I think the new guy looks good. He's a very different vibe from Kiryu, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I will report back next week.
We'll get the full report. But yeah, I think that's everything. I don't know if there's anything else I've really looked at this week. I'm sure something will pop into mind as I go into the break. I'll be like, oh, I did play that, but yeah, I don't think there's been anything. Still been looking at Phasmophobia and being like, do I pick that up and do like a solo run and be really sad?
It'll be the same.
Wouldn't be the
I
same.
ain't buying it, pal. I've got to start saving up for a PS5. He
It's
says
true, you do.
when it comes out next week. No, I might
You have
have
to
to actually
save up
get
real
Assassin's Creed
quick.
Valhalla with it now, since that's turned out to be pretty good.
So we have. But
It's just annoying. But
yeah, I can't rag on Ubisoft about it. I'll find something else though. Don't you worry.
pretty sure we've got other bullets for Ubisoft today.
Do we actually have a bullet point for Ubisoft today? I don't think we do.
Oh my god, we don't.
Very sad.
Disgusting. That's right. We'll find something for next week.
Don't you worry, Ubisoft. We won't leave you out next week. But
Double trouble next week.
yeah, we'll go take a quick break then, I suppose, and then we'll come back and get right into the news. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome, welcome. Tef's doing a little jig for you all.
I'm just excited to talk about the news.
The gaming news.
The gaming news.
News. Coming to you live.
News. What you got for us first, Mr. Zan News?
We got a lot in the news today. But it's gonna be a fun little session. But let's talk about Blizzard. Everyone remember Blizzard?
Boy.
Remember all the people that are
Remember
leaving
them?
Blizzard? There's now more
Remember that
people leaving Blizzard. But first of all, Chris Metzens, he's back with his own tabletop company. So Chris Metzen, I think for anyone who knows Blizzard, he's a big name, or he was a big name at Blizzard. But yeah, he's now doing his own thing with Warchief Gaming, made his own tabletop company. Having a good time, just enjoying it. I think he's got some ex-Blizzard employees over there as well. He partnered up with a few of them. And they're just having a great time making tabletop games. On top of that, we also had Dave Kosak, I think his name is, who was Hearthstone. He left and now has, what's the name of the company? I forgot the name. I should have put it in the title.
Deviation Games.
Deviation Games. He's deviated from Blizzard.
Well done, you.
So, yeah, a lot more studios are being formed from ex-Blizzard employees. They're all just leaving and making their own studios to I don't know, do what they actually want to do, you know?
Yeah, so this is what the third company to have from Blizzard in the last a couple of months.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
this-
if we're counting
feel like
Warchief
we've run
Gaming as
this-
well, it's 4.
I guess. Yeah,
We had
actually.
Dreamhaven, then we had Frost. What were they called? Not Frostpunk. I mixed them up with Frostpunk last time, but there was the RTS one as well.
No, I can't
Now we got
remember.
Warchief Gaming and we got Deviation Games as well. That's 4 different companies that have come off ex-Blizzard employees.
It's feeling like we're reporting on this article every week at this point. It just keeps
Yeah.
coming back, more and more people. No one
feel
wants to be working at Blizzard.
I mean, I feel like maybe the non-compete for a lot of these guys has run out, and now they're all just all right, let's start our own game company, have a good time. No longer held back by Activision. Bobby Kotick sitting at the top.
Oh, Bobby. Ruined everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really interesting to see. Blizzard... We're going to see little bits of Blizzard in different studios now, all over the place, and the company itself is, as you were saying before the podcast, just a mere shell of what it used to be.
It's sad. Really sad.
Mm.
One of the biggest companies in PC gaming for a very long time.
Oh yeah, they were a beloved company as well, and now look at them. It is
I think
Go on.
I was just gonna say I think Blizzard's probably alongside Valve, probably the most influential PC gaming developer, and there's just so little left of it now. It's really sad. The original guys have all just left. It's not got that spark that it had originally because it's just not got the same people behind it. And it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, again, that could just all come down to Activision at this point, because it all seemed to go. It all seemed to go downhill once Activision got involved. Surprise, surprise. But I think they lost a lot of freedom in what they wanted to do with the company when that happened, and I think a lot of people wanted out at that point. And they've done a lot of dodgy stuff since then, especially with their workers. I mean, they don't get paid nearly enough at Blizzard, and on top of that, you've had people just getting dropped. You know, just see, there was that point where they just dropped hundreds of workers. They were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna have to get rid of a bunch." This was forever ago now. I don't remember if this was last year or this year. Everything's blending into one.
Time has no meaning for me anymore.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know, how much prestige does Blizzard hold nowadays?
Yeah, very little. I mean, I feel like they lost respect quite some time ago anyway. At this point, it's been a long time since anyone's truly respected Blizzard. I think when did that start?
Diablo 3.
I was gonna say probably Diablo 3, yeah, 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 'cause they were sort of they've been on a slow, downhill, what's the word? Well, they've been going slowly downhill, let's put
Yeah.
it that way, since, maybe, like, WoW Cataclysm, but I think Diablo 3 is the point when the ball really started rolling at an uncontrollable speed, so,
Mm.
yeah, it's just not been the same since, sadly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I could like Blizzard could, still do some really good stuff, and hopefully they do, you know. But we'll just have to really see, because you're not gonna have a lot of the big names, the people who actually, well, created a lot of the stuff over there, doing it anymore. It's gonna be passed down to people who are newer to the industry, and maybe the point where just like Activision are just like, let's just hire the people for the cheapest we can and give them the promise of, well, you'll have the prestige at working at Blizzard Entertainment. Oh,
It's
but
just
yeah,
taking advantage of people,
yeah,
which unfortunately is quite common in the industry.
yeah. You gotta work. It's not a job. You're passionate about it, aren't you, Tef? Why are you not enjoying your
Mm.
job?
Don't you wanna work 100 hours a week because you love it so much?
Did you not grow up wanting to make games as a kid? Why are you even here?
This is your opportunity. Why don't you get to it?
Think of all
Get
the
to it.
exposure you could have from having the prestige of working at
Oh,
our company.
don't. I've never even worked in the industry, and you're making me angry.
But yeah, it's an interesting one to follow. And other than that, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like more companies are gonna start to spring up. We'll see even more studios at this
It can't
rate.
be even more, surely. There's already like 4 of them. It's
A
ridiculous.
lot of people work at Blizzard. They all want to do
That's
different
true.
things.
Huge company, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got on the table today?
Well, we got Take Two looking to buy Codemasters, which is
Hmm.
an interesting one. I thought Ziff would have really been interested in this one because it's Codemasters. Because I don't really have a ton to say about Codemasters because I'm not a big racing game guy, and they're known for like Dirt and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, they're pretty much entirely a racing game company, aren't
Mm,
they? I mean, I used to play a lot of Codemasters games. I've not played any in a long time, really, but um, they're a big company. They're definitely a noteworthy company. They've been going since
yeah,
like the dawn of time. They've been making games since about '86, and for the majority um of that time, since about '88, they've been known for making quality racing games. They've always been at the forefront of racing games. They made all the Dirt games, and well, even before then, when it was called Colin McRae Rally, they made all of them. They made the Micro Machines games, which I loved growing up. Um, they're a big company, but they've always been independent. Um,
yeah.
so hopefully nothing changes if they get taken in by a bigger publisher. But I mean, we've seen what happens in the past when that happens. Well, we've just been
We
talking
were
about
talking
Blizzard.
about we were talking about
Just
Dead
just
Space 3 earlier as well, and like Rare. This was before the
mm,
podcast, actually.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking about Rare more in the sense of what was happening with Blizzard, where over time, as everyone leaves, it becomes just a name and not really a company.
Hmm.
Um, Codemasters are in a funny situation where they're kind of like a double A, maybe even like triple A level developer, but they operate on their own, much like how Blizzard did for a long time. And it does worry me slightly because when it happened to Blizzard, we've just discussed what the end game was there, so it
Hmm.
is a little bit concerning. Take Two aren't too bad. I mean,
Um.
they've got the shark card stuff, I guess, but they're not as bad as some other particularly egregious publishers, I think.
I don't know. I feel like we've had some stories about Take Two though as well. I mean, was it not?
Yeah,
I I'm not gonna. I can't actually remember. But I'm sure we had a story about Take Two like not long ago.
I think we did. I think a lot of the time with Take Two, it's always about Rockstar. You don't hear much
Hmm.
about their other subsidiaries. So, I mean, To be fair, I think they mostly are just Rockstar, to be fair. Actually, I'm looking at their subsidiaries now, and I don't recognize any of the other studios.
Take-Two are NBA as
Oh,
well,
they
aren't
own
they?
Firaxis as well, actually. They're
NBA,
what, sorry?
NBA,
NBA?
2K,
No,
which
2K and Take-Two are two different things. Oh, no, they're
no
not. You're
NBA.
right, yeah, 2K is part.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
own
yeah, you're
NBA.
right, yeah.
So
Oh, okay, yeah,
they were
2K are
responsible
very
for a
good.
lot of stuff with that.
You know, I didn't realize until just now, when I just looking at their subsidiaries, I didn't realize that 2K were part of Take-Two. That changes everything. 2K are some of the scummiest um, publishers out there. Um, yeah. So Take-Two is like a parent company, and below it they've got they
Mm.
have sort of actual publishers below them. So they've got Rockstar and 2K, which I'd say to be fair, I get the impression I don't know exactly how it works in the company, obviously, but they don't seem to operate in the same way. Like Rockstar has some shady practices, but it's nothing compared to how 2K is. So maybe if they get brought in, they'll be under their own banner, at the same level as 2K and Rockstar, and
I
hopefully will
think
retain some autonomy. But
I think they do. They'll have like their independence. Their independence, but it's also you then have the pressure of having a big publisher above you to be like, hey, that game ain't really making it as much as it should be. Is it? You might want to throw some microtransactions in there or like prodding along development a bit. Like that game should have been out a couple of months ago, guys. Probably should throw that out now. You get a lot of
yeah,
pressure like that.
that's where the problem lies, definitely, and that'll be a shame because Codemasters games are known for their polish.
Mm,
They don't often make bad games, and but I guess part of that is because they always make the same type of game, so they know what they're doing. But it would be a
yeah.
shame if we start getting unfinished games as a result of it. But that's just the industry these days, isn't it? You get that a lot anyway. Um, you sadly I've come to expect it to a degree, so
But we're still gonna
it's a
talk
shame.
about it and complain about it. So
Still gonna moan,
here
still
we
gonna
are.
complain. It's all we can do. What else can we do at our level? Not like anyone even
Yeah.
listens to us anyway.
No,
Just
we
two
just
old men
ramble
shouting
on.
at clouds.
Yeah, and then we'll complain about it on Twitter as well. And I'll shake my fist angrily out the window.
Oh, why I oughta.
But yeah, they're not the
That's all.
only people that are looking at buying companies, as Microsoft are looking to pick up some Japanese studios, which shouldn't really come as much of a surprise because they don't have a lot of sway in
Hmm.
the Japanese markets. They don't really do very well in the East.
Well, I think this actually, to me, it does come as a surprise because they've never cared about this in the past. They've had they've been in this game for nearly 20 years now, and they've never even attempted to target the Asian market before. This is a really strange. I think this
I
is a really strange time to suddenly start caring because they
I
obviously.
I don't know if it is
Go on.
because they're changing their model now and how they sort of work. We're going more to like the mobile phone sort of console cycle. We're going more towards that, and then they're going more towards a subscription based service. And
Yeah, I can see
alongside
that
this,
actually.
they're picking up a lot of companies for their Game Pass to get that subscription and build up more on there. So if they pack that with some Japanese games as well, they could try and potentially try and pander to that audience as well and try and bring in a bit more of that demographic.
I hadn't thought of it that way. That's a really good point. I could see that. I could see that making sense.
Mm.
With the way the model is going, it probably will pull in more Japanese players because they kind of they prefer this sort of rolling mobile style model. Certainly. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I know one of the studios that they're suspected to be aiming their sights at is Platinum.
Which is an
Um,
interesting one. I don't know if they
mm,
will, because if we recall, Platinum was also the ones that did that one Dragon game with the guy with the headphones. I've forgotten the name of it, but you know the one I'm describing. What was it called? They were
um,
supposed to make that, but it never ended up coming out. It got cancelled. Dragon
I
Scale was it
can't
called? Or
remember.
Dragon something Scale? Scalebound. Scalebound.
Oh, right. I vaguely remember that, vaguely. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, okay, but Platinum have made a lot of
They have made a lot
fantastic
of
games as
good.
well.
They
Yeah,
have.
they don't. So it's interesting to me though because they've got an exclusivity deal with Nintendo,
Yeah.
with Bayonetta. So I wonder how if they did, I wonder what would happen there. Would they still have to make Bayonetta games? and be tied to Microsoft for that one. I mean, Nintendo, sorry, for that one IP, and then all the rest of them are Microsoft exclusives. It'd be strange.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if they did end up picking a Platinum, I'm trying to think what else Platinum could do. You know what? I'd love another Metal Gear Rising, but also we wouldn't have Kojima like having any involvement in it, which would be sad.
yeah, that is not happening.
I mean, anything
Um,
Konami related is probably not happening, but I can dream. I can dream of a Metal Gear Rising.
yeah, true. They also make they made Nier Automata. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, I actually didn't play it. I really want to because it looks right up my alley. I've just
Hmm.
never given it a go. I just never picked it up.
Yeah, that does look really good. That's meant to be absolutely incredible. The only
Hmm.
reason I didn't play that, considering it's meant to be like one of the best JRPGs of the generation. The only reason I didn't pick it up is because it came out the same week as Persona 5. And my
Oh,
allegiance
okay.
was already lied with Persona, so but it's meant to be really, really good. So definitely. I didn't realize they made that. That's interesting.
Yeah, the
So
Platinum have made
yeah.
so many good things. The Scalebound was disappointing though. I don't know what happened with that. I don't. I feel like there might have been like an autopsy on it, but I don't remember what the details of the Scalebound project was. I remember a lot of people being hyped for that when they saw that was on the way. It was like, ooh, big
Hmm.
dragon man wearing headphones. He had like Beats by Dre on or something. I don't know.
Oh boy, that's kind of grim.
I don't think it
Sweet.
actually was, but that's what it looked like.
I'm just reading about it now, but can't find much besides the usual PR gubbins about why it was cancelled. So
Yeah,
uh,
I don't know. We'll maybe get the story later down the line at some point. Someone will be like, "Here's my memoir."
mm. Or they'll get snapped up by Microsoft, and then maybe they'll get another go at it. Um,
Maybe.
you never know. Platinum have actually apparently gone on record to say that they wouldn't mind having another crack at it if they were given the opportunity. So maybe they will get another go at it. Who knows? Uh,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah.
mean, wouldn't surprise me because I don't know. I just really like Platinum games. I hope they just continue to do really good stuff. But
It's
yeah,
another step forward as well, isn't it? For this this new uh, this new plan that Microsoft's got to just snap up loads of exclusive deals with
yeah,
developers, which is so weird because they just made no attempt at that last generation. But they've got some really good companies under their belt at the moment, and if they do pick up Platinum as well,
yeah,
it's gonna be awkward for me as a PlayStation guy I'm on consoles. It's with PlayStation. Be a shame I'd have
yeah.
to pick up all those games on PC, which I guess is fine, but I like
Fine for
some
me.
games to be on console. It
But
depending on the type of game, I prefer console sometimes, so it's a
mm,
shame, but what can you
to be
do?
fair, I suppose you could always like stream your PC stuff to your TV or something. You could figure something out if you really
Oh yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah. That's very true. Just a bit more awkward. Not
Mm,
as pick up and play.
yeah, but I don't know. Again, they are just looking at padding out that Game Pass. That's honestly, it seems to be their goal. It'd
Yeah,
be
I can see that. Definitely.
yeah, it'd just be interesting to see where they go with it. Speaking of interesting, we've also got a Mass Effect remake on the
Hmm.
way. Don't know why.
Interesting because this is big news to the rest of the world, but me and Zan don't actually like Mass Effect very much. So I
Yeah, I
don't
just
think
don't
we're gonna
really
have
care
much to
too
say about
much.
this one.
But yeah, there was
Yeah,
that, and there's a new Mass Effect game in the works as well on top of that.
yeah,
So
they
very
kind of just
exciting.
casually dropped that news in, didn't they?
Mm,
Apparently, it was just sort of slid in at the end of the announcement for the the remaster, which is a weird way of doing it.
yeah, I don't know how much the people. I mean, I guess people really do care about Mass Effect because it was all over my timeline when this got announced.
Mm.
I
Oh no,
do,
Mass Effect's a huge deal. People are really, really invested in that world, and people really
yeah.
want a good follow up to it, especially
I
after
thought
Andromeda.
I thought after Andromeda people would care less about it because Andromeda wasn't as great. It was like it was a different set of people working on
Mm.
Andromeda, but I figured people would care less about it now because it's not the main trilogy. It's not like the characters you know and love.
I think it's somehow only made people more desperate for a good game. You know,
Mm,
like it does happen sometimes, doesn't it? It's like the way most Sonic games. Sonic fans convince themselves the next one is going to be good. It's definitely going to be good because they're just so desperate, and each time it fails, it just makes them even more desperate for a good Sonic game. So
Yeah.
I think it's having that effect.
I think they could make me care about Mass Effect if they changed the BioWare formula. Because the BioWare games always had the exact same sort of formula when it came to, Mass Effect and Dragon Age and stuff. They were very much the same in what they did.
Yeah, they don't really do it for me. I didn't mind Dragon Age, but
I
Mass
really liked the
Effect.
first Dragon Age game, but I didn't really enjoy any of the other Dragon Ages.
I didn't know you played the first Dragon Age game.
Oh,
When
yeah.
that first came, I remember bugging you to play that constantly, and you were going,
I don't
I don't
remember
think I'll
this.
like it. I don't think I like it. I don't think I'm gonna play it. And I was like, no, trust me, it's a lot better than Mass Effect. And you were like, no, it's still a BioWare game. I'm not sure if I like it. So I didn't think you'd ever actually gotten around to playing it. But
Oh, yeah, I played that
I
years
don't
ago.
mind
I
it
don't
at all.
remember when I played it.
I mean, this was when it came out, which was like 11 years ago now, to be fair. So you've had plenty of time to catch up since. But I
Yeah.
just remember that conversation because
I
I
don't
knew you would
remember this
like
at
it,
all.
but I couldn't get you to play it.
It's a really good game, though. Good times.
Mm, It
I
is.
don't think they've ever really done anything quite like that because the rest of them just didn't have the same sort of appeal. I don't know.
Apparently, Inquisition's not so bad. Um, Apparently, it goes
I
back
heard it
to the
was more
original
like an
formula.
MMO though. It felt more like an
I
MMO. Yeah.
didn't play it, so I can't be certain. But um, yeah, I don't know. I know that Dragon Age 2 was completely
Yeah.
its own totally different sort of game. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't particularly care about BioWare games anyway. Honestly, I've never been able to get into them.
Mm,
I've bounced off most of them, and even Dragon Age, I didn't love it. I just thought it was good, which was a big step up for any BioWare game by my standards, anyway. So,
yeah. I think I definitely played it on PC, so it was when I was
oh
playing.
yeah,
It was when I was more into PC, which to be fair has been for the last decade anyway. I
yeah.
remember when I started PC. I think it was
I mean that.
before everyone else, wasn't it, for the most part?
I don't know. I can't remember honestly,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was well. That game is kind of designed for PC anyway.
It definitely yeah,
I
it
rem-
feels very much like a PC game.
I remember playing it on 360 and feeling like I was having an inferior experience because the UI was clearly made for a PC.
Mm,
Sort of experience because it's the UI is basically Baldur's Gate.
yeah.
The whole game. I think the reason why I liked the game was because it just felt like 3D Baldur's Gate. But that did mean that playing it on console felt weird.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Dragon Age 1 and didn't really enjoy any of the other ones. Which, I don't know, I
Yeah,
really want to play Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I've been looking at that game and it looks really good, but it is an early access still.
yeah. I'll wait till it's out before I
Mm,
even consider it.
but it does look fun. But,
Mm,
yeah, I don't know, I just don't care about Mass Effect. I'm sorry.
no,
Sorry,
that
Will.
news will make a lot of people really happy. So but
Yeah.
we talk about it anyway. A lot of people super hyped for that. So
Yeah, should we talk about, I mean, should we talk about some big stonks then? Because
big stonks,
Mass Effect, I'm sure is stonks for some people, but let's talk about Square Enix's stonks.
big stonks, or lack
Oh,
of.
oh yeah. So everyone remembers the great success that the Marvel's Avengers game was. Everyone remember that? Yeah.
Can I admit something? Um, I don't know anything about this game. It passed me by completely. It's probably because it's about the Avengers, and I don't
mm,
really like Avengers, honestly. But all I know about this game is that it was awful. Um, I don't know anything else. It just
it
totally passed me
was.
by. I remember it being hyped up, and then apparently it was just awful. And what happened exactly?
Well, we actually, I think we briefly spoke about it on the podcast at one point because we spoke about because the beta came out for it and everyone was like really underwhelmed by the game and we're like, well, this isn't that great.
Mm.
And then it came out to not much fanfare at all. No one really liked it. It wasn't that great of a game, and Square Enix lost 48 million.
$48 million? Hey,
Yeah,
yeah, not good at all. It's absolutely crashed the stocks, hasn't it? Apparently, really
yeah.
like bizarre.
Like that was a game that they probably put together, being like, this is the Avengers. the Marvel Avengers, that's all really big. Everyone's super into that. This will do really well. We've paid a lot of money for licensing and a lot of this stuff. We got a lot of development going into it. We're gonna make sure all the kids know about this game. And then, yeah, they just apparently just felt very soulless, very uninteresting.
I don't feel like there was much marketing for it though. I don't remember seeing any marketing for this
I
game,
don't know. I
which is
remember
so
a lot of
strange.
people
Yeah.
playing the beta. Like a lot of streamers, a lot of people
Mm.
paid to play the beta.
Yeah, but so from what you're saying here, I think that what's happened is they got all the core gamers interested, but then they put out a subpar beta, didn't fix it up for release, so that when
Mm,
release came around, everyone was like, "Oh, that's that game that was bad and wasn't fixed," and
yeah.
people already knew it was bad. Um, I think you can get around that by appealing to the casual gamers, which a big name like Avengers should do. But you'd have to be kind of putting
More
adverts on the
traditional
sides of
media.
buses, normal, yeah, more traditional adverts that are actually aimed at the general public, and I don't think they did that. I don't remember seeing anything like that for this game.
Well, I don't look at a lot of traditional advertising. I don't really see that, so I couldn't really say.
I feel like even and obviously, like, we're not going to be looking at adverts in newspapers or anything like that, but even like banner ads on websites or mid rolls in a YouTube video, you would see something. It would get through to you. I feel
Mm,
like there's been nothing. Not even
yeah,
like a sponsored post on social media. But
I
I don't
feel
know.
like
I just get the
there
impression.
was internet stuff. I don't remember there being big marketing campaigns like on buses or anything like that. Like Assassin's Creed, every time an Assassin's Creed game comes out, I feel like they do a big push on marketing for it.
Oh, definitely,
And I'm
yeah.
surprised they didn't do this for a Marvel Avengers game. Like Squeenix have the money to throw it there, and I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah, it's so
If that's
strange.
the
I feel like it's
case.
like it does seem like they've just missed the mark entirely on the marketing and the quality. Obviously,
Mm,
I think ever since Marvel Spider-Man, I think the bar's been raised for superhero games now. I don't know if people are going to accept subpar superhero games like we used to. Between Arkham and Insomniac Spider-Man,
yeah.
there's just no excuse now. It's yeah, I can't see people just picking it up just for the name anymore. Maybe casual gamers, but this game clearly wasn't aimed at them. So I don't
Mm,
know what they thought was going to happen when they released a game that was already known for having an awful beta.
yeah. I think it's one of those things that just came out and felt like a bit of a soulless cash grab. You know, it's like, hey,
Mm.
let's use that IP and make a ton of money. That's easy money, guys. Or sit in the boardroom like the kids like the Avengers. You like that one Iron Man guy? Put him in there. We'll sell him.
What a crap
We'll
game.
sell skins. It'll make tons of
I
money.
bet you that was the plan. That was probably the plan.
We'll have different Iron Man
Oh,
armors. But
damn shame.
what a damn shame. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's not looking great for Square Enix. It's not looking great for EA either, because they've been just continually getting bashed for loot boxes in several countries. And this time, the Dutch have came on down and went, well, you have to pay us a fine of 10 million,
Mm.
which
This is actually the second time the Dutch government's brought the hammer down on EA, isn't it?
yeah. So they're
Good.
not having any of it, and yeah, it is really good. They're just continually getting punished for it, and hopefully it does mean the death of loot boxes eventually.
We just need more and more gambling regulators to get involved in this. Sadly, our own gambling regulators don't think loot boxes are a problem, which is infuriating. But a
Mm.
lot of European ones do.
It's
Um,
still an ongoing talk, isn't it? But they're pretty like, we don't think it is the case. We had this
mm,
talk on, was it last podcast or the podcast before?
I think we've had it a few times, to be
We
fair.
have, yeah.
'Cause loot boxes are a big problem in the industry, and it needs to be discussed.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't think the battle's quite over in our country just yet, but it's certainly an uphill battle. Whereas the
yeah.
Dutch, straight up, I think Holland and Belgium from day one have not trusted loot boxes. They've had the right idea straight away.
Oh yeah, Holland
Um,
right away jumped on it, which was great.
mm. It's really good to see, honestly. Like, they've got the right idea. Um, I think EA kind of expected to have some sort of special treatment. Um, it's actually kind of mentioned here in this article that they wanted to take advantage of the fact that this is a new form of gambling. They were kind of hoping that you can tell that their strategy is to take advantage of this before regulators catch up with it and
Yeah.
start to put things in place because it's a new form of gambling. Most gambling laws have loopholes for it, but this doesn't fly in Holland, according to this article on gamesindustry.biz. It doesn't fly because under Dutch gambling laws, anything that's a game of chance is potentially gambling and therefore potentially addictive. So anything that's a game of chance at all is immediately subject to the gambling laws. It doesn't have to be the gambling laws won't have to be updated for a new type of gambling. Anything that's a game of chance where there's money involved is automatically
Yeah.
under those regulations. So from the second loot boxes came about in FIFA, second FIFA Ultimate Team was invented, it was immediately subject to these laws, and that's why they've been hit multiple times. But I
Mm.
think they're just gonna keep taking the fines, honestly.
Because it makes enough
Because
money for them.
yeah, because all that they're doing, sadly, is they're just hitting them with the fines and saying, "If you don't fix it, we'll just hit you with more
Bad.
fines later down the line."
Bad.
And they just
Stop.
keep getting fined.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's no matter the size of the fine, I don't think it's ever gonna make a difference unless every country starts doing it or unless countries start outlawing it. Hopefully, hopefully the European Union outlaw it. I can see that happening
Mm.
because so many European countries have a problem with it. I'm hoping that will eventually become an EU law, which sadly doesn't affect us anymore. But if they do lose a major market like that, it might make them rethink their strategy
Yeah.
across the world. Is my hope. So
We'll have to say, but it's I don't know. It's gonna take a lot more. We just I feel like we talk about loot boxes a lot on this podcast over the duration of the podcast. We've brought this up many times, and they've been continually punished for it. I think it was pretty early on in the podcast that they were talking about surprise mechanics.
good old surprise mechanics.
But yeah, and EA, the ones just taking they're at the forefront of this. They're the one getting all the hits because there are other people that do loot boxes, but I think EA are a good, if they're gonna make an example of anyone, EA should definitely be the first.
I think, despite the fact, I think there are publishers that actually do it worse these days. But EA are still the ones that come to mind when I
Mm,
think of loot boxes. I think they helped popularize it, and they certainly were the first ones to do it in a really shady way. They're the ones who took it to that new level.
yeah.
Um,
I think
they are the easy
Overwatch as well makes me like in Blizzard. That makes me think loot boxes, but I don't know what Overwatch
target.
do anymore. I've not played Overwatch in so long. I don't know if they still do that.
No idea. Never played the game.
Mm.
That game kind of passed me by. Never had the opportunity to play it really.
But yeah,
Uh,
it's we will probably talk about loot boxes again on this podcast. This will not be the end of the loot box saga.
No, well, it needs to be discussed. This is one of the biggest problems in the industry at the minute. So I'm not going to apologise for bringing it up. It's something that everyone needs to be aware of, and
Mm.
I'm glad that the actual authorities are making strides towards fixing it. Now we just need to get America on side. If we get both sides of the pond on side to at least some extent, then we'll actually start to see some change.
I don't know about America though.
No, America probably won't, because America's laws are annoyingly outdated and not always very consumer friendly.
Capitalism,
Which
baby.
actually, capitalism to be that actually ties in quite nicely to our next news article. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
the other big problem in the industry is the way workers are treated. But would you like to talk more about that?
oh, this one makes me so angry.
This
I'll have
one's
to find
just
a key
funny.
comment. It is funny, but it's like it makes me really angry too. Honestly, it does. This must be an American law thing because I don't think this would fly here. But so as part of Black Friday, because that's coming up soon, isn't it? I always forget exactly when Black Friday is, but it is soon, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Um,
I only participate in Cyber Monday, so I never know when it is.
yeah, I mean it's the same, honestly. Well, surely there won't be a Black Friday this year. It'll be digital anyway. But
Yeah.
Cyber Friday. But anyway, so GameStop have been putting out challenges like internally to their employees. like the way companies do, where they'll throw out a challenge or some sort of like quiz or whatever, and you can win a prize.
Some fun employee contest.
Some fun, for employee well-being. We care about your well-being and all that jazz. So if you send in a funny TikTok dance that you've done, you have a chance to win some prizes such as Amazon Echo or $100 gift card, or gain the right to work an extra 10 hours over Black Friday so you can make more money working for us. Extra 10 hours labor. Isn't that what you want? Doesn't that just sound excellent? Oh, how can they be so how can they just not understand how wrong that is? It's so capitalist. That would not fly over here in Europe at all. But
Yeah,
that's labor laws in America apparently.
it's bizarre, but apparently I saw people like being like, well, I mean, some people might want the extra hours to, they might want a bit more money,
Mm.
so they'd want the extra hours, and it's like, I don't know,
But the thing is, no, that doesn't fly
I
though. That
know,
doesn't work, that logic. Because everyone works the same amount of hours anyway during Black Friday. Everyone has to work past their allotted hours. It just means that they're getting unpaid. So they're basically giving you the chance to win back money that they're stealing from you. It's wage theft. It's legalized wage theft that's somehow allowed under America's labor laws. I don't.
I don't know. America is really strange when it comes to just work in general. Like I know people who like have to just stay behind a few hours because to get some more stuff done. It's like but they're like doing this regularly. You're like, yeah, I just have to stay behind,
Mm.
every day. A bit past the hours that I'm supposed to do, and that's just normal.
I I hate this. You would never catch me doing this in a million years. It's just not something that I'd ever do for any job. It's not no job is worth that to me. Like I see it in
Once I'm
my
off
own
the
job. The
clock, see you later.
That's it, honestly. Like my managers, I see my managers in my job do it all the time. They'll work like 10, 11, 12 hour days sometimes because they've got to be running the team when we're all in, and then they stay after we all leave so that they can get stuff done without us bothering them. And like the way my job works, thankfully, it kind of works because we've got flexi. So when if they work extra hours on that day, then they're they're up flexi credit and they can take that time off and at another time. But that caps out after a point. And if they're doing this every single day, then eventually those hours just start getting lost. They're not getting paid and they're not getting that time back. And they just do it anyway because they feel that responsibility, and that's just if I ain't getting paid, I am not doing it. I'm sorry. That's the way I work.
Mm,
No job is worth that. No job's worth that to your well-being, and you're not even being paid for it. So don't waste your life working for someone else's profits because someone else is making money off that and you're not.
yeah,
And it's disgusting now that the GameStop are taking advantage of it. Honestly, I can't wait till GameStop just dies. It's a crap company. We don't need retail game companies anymore, and GameStop are awful. At least over here with like Game aren't amazing, but they're a damn sight better than GameStop are. And I feel like a lot of the stuff, a lot of stuff they do is kind of like not that anti-consumer. Like they get a lot of exclusive special editions that only exist in game, but I think that's just because they need to do that to keep themselves afloat. I don't really have a problem with that, honestly, too much. But the stuff you hear about GameStop constantly, it makes me just
I just find
wish
this
they go under.
hilarious. Like, do a TikTok dance and gain the right to work more hours. It's like, come on. Like, how do you put this out there and realize, like, think you're not gonna get scrutinized for it? It's
It screams boomer, doesn't it, as well? Like, what are the kids into these days? I
the
know they're into
TikTok.
TikTok,
Yeah,
into the TikToks.
like we'll get all the kids to do a fun little TikTok, and who knows? You know what? For all I know, they'll probably use these TikToks in some marketing campaign for GameStop. Wouldn't surprise me.
Matter of time. They will, because they won't even realize. They probably won't even see this kick off about it. They'll go right over their heads because they're up in their average hours anyway.
Mm.
It's funny from our perspective, but it really does bother me that it's the cheek of them essentially stealing wages and then offering it back to you as a prize for a stupid fucking TikTok ban.
Oh, I'm gonna break out my best Fortnite default dance for this TikTok, boys.
Oh, get flossing, lads, for that extra 10 hours of paid labour.
Oh, it is what it is.
Right,
It's game
we need to
stuff.
move on.
Yeah,
We
we
need to move
do.
on before my blood pressure explodes.
So let's
We're
raise my blood
actually,
pressure instead.
yeah, that's it. We're moving into territory that's bad for you. So it's time to move into the trash and Twitch section of the podcast. Our
Trashing
favorite
Twitch.
segment.
Oh, we need like an
Twitch.
animation where it's like just a bin slides across and then Twitch logo slides into it and it just slams it down on it. It's like trashing Twitch.
Get to it. I want that ready for
Yeah,
next week.
I'll have that ready set up. Oh,
Right. Jesus, take the wheel.
DMCA. Everyone loves DMCAs, right, guys? Twitch has handled DMCAs really well. Hem and Lee, great guy. You might know him from Dragon Force.
Little band called Dragon Force.
Little band called Dragon Force. One of the bands where he actually has some of the rights to certain albums, so he can say that you can play these albums and it's all good. You know, there's no DMCA. You're all good. You can play these albums freely. He's been banned for his own music anyway off Twitch, so yeah.
Oh, just to turn the tables. I know this really bothers you, but I think this is really, really funny. um, but to say something that's actually conducive to the arguments here, there's a discussion. Um, Most interesting thing about this situation to me is, in my mind, this proves the theory that Twitch is preemptively taking things down, claiming that you're being DMCA'd when you're not, because because they think that it will be DMCA'd in the future. Do you remember we had this conversation on the podcast?
Yeah. I came
This,
with this fairy, didn't I?
yeah. I think you mentioned that, and I don't think Udemy personally thinks it, and in my
Hmm.
mind, this proves it because him and Lee didn't do it. He wouldn't take down his own videos, and I highly doubt the label would have done it without the band hearing about it. And surely the label, I guess like you could have a stupid
They,
suit in a label, but it would be reinstated very quickly. The issue would be fixed very quickly by him and Lee just ringing his label. So this
hmm.
has got to be Twitch preemptively taking it down and claiming that it's being DMCA'd, surely.
Yeah, my thing with this is I don't know if Twitch even has a system in place to detect what's DMCA-able. They have their audio magic thing, audible magic. I forgot what it was called, which catches like 10% of stuff on Twitch. That's DMCA-able. It's not very good. I just think it's just ridiculous that it's him and Lee getting suspended for his own music.
Ridiculous. I think the
But
next step, and I genuinely wouldn't be surprised, the next step is someone like Harris Heller getting suspended when like his music's royalty free anyway. They're still DMCA. I bet you that's the next step. That's the next stage here. Royalty free music being DMCA.
that would be insane if that happened.
But Twitch is perfectly capable of it. If they can do this, then it's not out of the question.
I mean, it's a case of Twitch is so incompetent that even if you decided to, say, delete all your clips and VODs, you're still getting a DMCA anyway, as we've found out, because they actually store all of your VODs and clips on the back end and don't actually delete them. So if you had the direct links to this stuff, you actually could still view your VODs and clips that were supposedly deleted. So,
which means they're still subject to the MCA.
Yeah, so it didn't even matter. You weren't protected, and now a bunch of streamers are getting DMCA'd for stuff that they've deleted.
It's horrendous.
I don't know how one company can be so incompetent, and I think it's only going to get worse from this point. It's just going to continue to go more and more downhill. The IRA are just going to lock down on Twitch a bunch more. They're going to come down even harder. And again, There's a bunch of Twitch streamers that are like, I'm not going to delete my stuff. I'm going to take a stand against them. It's like, okay, you do that, but you're gone. You're not going to exist on this platform by the end of it.
It's incredible. I never thought I'd say this, but they're actually handling this whole situation worse than YouTube, and that's incredible in my mind.
I think
Like,
YouTube nowadays does a good job of it. Like, for the,
sorry, I don't just mean the MCA situation. Like they can be a bit dodgy with that, but YouTube's just like very incompetent in helping its creators in general.
I think they've
And
gotten better at
Twitch
that
has
though.
made them look. I think you're just saying that because you're comparing it to Twitch. This is what I'm saying. Twitch has made them look good. Compared to Twitch, they are very good at this, but they're not very good at all. There's still no communication. But
I will
at
say,
least
from what I heard, there's been a lot more communication from YouTube over the last few years compared to what they used to be. So they have improved in that sector, I will say.
I'm not sure about that personally. That's not what I've heard, but fair enough if you say so.
I mean, it
You're the
might
one who
just be
actually
like,
uses the platform.
yeah, I use YouTube quite a bit, but it does seem like there's been a bit more communications. Like, a lot of YouTubers still have like they have like AMs or people they go to as well. So there's a lot of back and forth. They're there for like partners though, because they changed how the partner system works on YouTube now. So you actually need 1,000 subscribers and like a certain amount of watch hours to even be monetizable and be a partner on YouTube, essentially. So there's less people who monetize on there nowadays, which means less people they have to communicate with, essentially.
But you don't even need direct communication though. Like a lot of the time, it's the sort of thing that could just be put out to everyone publicly in like a press release or a blog post or something, and they don't bother to do that half the time. But it's still a lot better than what Twitch is doing, where Twitch is promising you that they fixed the problem, offering a solution, and then the solution doesn't work.
And the solution is part of the problem.
That's so awful. The fact that if you've got a direct link to it on the server, it's still there. It's just insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, originally I thought maybe this was a case of they don't really want to bother offering a solution to the problem because they want to save server space, but they're not really saving server space if it's all still there. So
I really don't think Amazon needs to save server space anyway.
Yeah, but
surely can't be a problem for Amazon.
But they'd save money on it, and it's not really. Again, this is Twitch, not Amazon. Twitch allocated a budget from Amazon, so they could just be like, well, we'll save money on this, and then we'll pay out a bunch of money to artists, for example, to get more music on our Twitch soundtrack, which they still haven't paid the licenses for, so it's not above board.
Oh, sweet lord. When are we going to flip that switch?
Hopefully
that switch,
soon.
change everything. Get us all over to YouTube. Let's just end this rodeo right now.
It's just it seems like such a silly move. I don't know, because Twitch they've been they're in quite a precarious space now, because Mixer did shut down, and maybe that to them was like, okay, we've solidified our place as a streaming platform. No one will ever take over Twitch. I think they still have that mentality of no one will ever take over Twitch. They're in a great position. Yeah, and if you think about it, Twitch compared to the other two platforms that have streaming available on them is so small. The other two platforms being Facebook and YouTube, and the amount of people that visit those sites compared to Twitch is so much more. Like, it's I forgot what the stat was, but it was like for every one person on Twitch, there's like 1,000 more on YouTube or something like that.
Could see that, certainly. Definitely. And when you combine it with the fact that Twitch is actively pushing people towards YouTube now, once you get the audience is already bigger there. Once you get the creators there, it's game over, surely.
Yeah, it's also a case there's just as a platform, there is no reason to have your content on Twitch now, because it's not safe on Twitch. It can be DMCA'd. It's not showing itself as a good platform to store VODs or clips, because I mean, I'd rather just have them moved over to YouTube where I know they're not gonna get deleted or disappear or get DMCA'd for some unknown reason.
Definitely.
And
I could.
go on.
I don't think I had anything to say.
Okay.
Sorry. Carry on.
No.
Sorry. I'm breaking the floor apart.
But it's just, I don't know, it's bizarre. I don't know how one company can just be this incompetent. Like, what are you doing? Like,
It's Amazon. I feel like Amazon has fluked their way to the top in a lot of cases. I don't know how
I mean,
they manage
again,
it,
I don't
but
think it's Amazon. I think Amazon are like, they talk with Twitch a little bit, but it's kind of Twitch on their own. They're just
gonna have
owned.
some inputs because they're the ones with the money.
Oh yeah, they definitely will. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if Twitch will stick around. Who knows? I think it could just disappear overnight at some point. I think this is what we're seeing here is making that possibility greater than it was before. This is such a widespread issue on the platform that, again, they could have dealt with so long ago. I'm surprised Amazon never stepped in and dealt with it when they acquired Twitch, but here we are.
Yeah, we are.
Here we are.
How's your blood pressure feeling, pal?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want it anymore.
But yeah, I feel that's all our news for the week. Again, Twitch is bad. Peppersight bad.
Peppersight's so bad.
What more is there to it? Go check out the YouTube instead. Speaking of which, Tef, where can the people find you on the internet?
Well, when I'm not hanging out here, doing streams with you or podcasting with you, I try to write Medium articles on games. If you like the sort of rambling that I do here, it's kind of the same sort of thing. Hopefully a little bit more coherent because I've got time to bake it into sentences that actually make sense. But yeah, I write articles on Medium about games for a publication called Super Jump. I'm on Twitter. I had my Twitter open the entire time we were talking for this link, and I've just closed it for reasons I don't know. But I'm Teffers on Twitter. I'll get the link and drop it in chat if you hear. Teffers on Twitter. You can always find my latest article on there. It's always pinned to the top. Latest article. Actually, put one out after a bit of block over the last month or so. We're really struggling to think of anything that I thought was good enough, and I really was struggling for a while. But then it kind of just something clicked a couple of days ago, and I put an article out about Vice City, which is like one of my favorite games. I'm really quite proud of it, honestly. I think it was worth struggling through to find something that I really wanted to write about because it's an article that I really do quite like.
Yeah.
It's about Vice City and 80s
I'm
nostalgia.
surprised.
And
I'm surprised you never wrote anything about Vice City prior to this.
So am I, actually. Yeah. I mean, it's not so much about Vice City itself. The game's really interesting. I don't think there's much I could add to Vice City. It's a game that people have written a lot about over the years. I don't think there's much I could add to it, but yeah, it's more about how Vice City kind of created this new wave of 80s nostalgia for people who weren't around in the 80s, me included. For a long time, I thought it was just me, but I kind of began to spot this trend on the internet. It's not just me. A lot of people feel the exact same way, and I think it's massively contributed to this huge 80s throwback zeitgeist that we've got in the culture at the moment. So yeah, it's all about that, and you can find it on twitter.com/Teffers. So yeah, go check it out, please. And got plenty of other articles on there. Go follow me and for more rambling, which I'm doing right now. What
Lots
about
of
you, my man?
interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're here, you probably know me already. But if you don't, Zanrise on YouTube, Zan Games on Twitter, The Real Zanrise on Instagram, and of course the Twitch is Zanrise as well. Also, if you're looking for the podcast, we actually have a YouTube channel for the podcast now, where you can go check out all the episodes. Yeah. I'm uploading. So right now I'm going to be uploading the previous podcast this day, and then next week this podcast will come out while the other podcast is live. So we'll have like a week in between them going up on YouTube. So they'll always be available over there for you to check out. And you, of course, can listen to the audio version over on Spotify and iTunes. But yeah, that is it. We are done. Thank you for joining us all, and we will see you all next week. So please do stop on by, and we'll see you then. Bonsoir.
Thank you very much. Bonsoir.